I was on Twitter earlier today and I saw this post by Apple News, and they're basically showing that there's this app that allows you to test out the Touch Bar. It basically mimics the Touch Bar on any other Mac that's not the new Apple Touch Bar MacBook Pro. So I decided to check it out, and I'm going to show you a quick review of that today. So here's the link to the app, and I'll drop the exact link to get you to the download in the description below. But I basically had to click through a few screens, got taken to the Touche page, and I'm going to do the free download for Mac. That's what you're going to have to click, and when you're done downloading that, it's going to show up as an app, and you open it up. Let's actually show it. Let's double click it to open it up. We'll open that one from the internet, and here's the app. This is it. It's a little window. I'm going to put that at the bottom of my screen, pretending like it's on the keyboard, and this is what the Touch Bar would look like, except it would be on your keyboard, which obviously is a lot more functional. Although this little bit here allows you to kind of see what functionality you would get if you had it. So I'm just going to click here. This is the brightness, and when you click and hold, it gives you a brightness bar. You can control the brightness. Pretty cool. There's also similarly a volume bar. You can hold and control the volume of the computer. There's Siri. Hey Siri, when's the next Raptors game?
The Raptors-Celtics game is Friday at 8 p.m.
You can use Siri, and there's more, so this gets you a whole bunch of other commands that you might use that have normally been on that bar where the Touch Bar exists. You can also hold down the function key, which is on the normal keyboard. I'm going to click that right now, and that gets you all the original function keys, which some people use, that some people have set specifically. So this is pretty cool. This little bar really lets you see what the Touch Bar would be like, and what I'm going to do now is just run through a bunch of apps and show you the kinds of things it would show you. So here I am in Safari, and one thing that's right there is the search bar, so I could immediately get to the search and start searching. Once I'm in the search bar, I've got, my toolbars, all sorts of things like that. I can also have a quick page viewer, so this allows me to flip between the different tabs I've got open. I can open a new tab and start typing away, whatever, thestreet.com, sure. So that's really, what you can do in Safari. Of course, you can still use the function keys by just pressing that, and you can get more controls, like to control your music or whatever, by pressing the More button. So that's Safari. Let's go into now, let's take a look at Photos. This is the Photos app. So here I am in my Photos, and, I can click on a photo, and let's see, not many options. If I open a photo big, it gives me the ability to scroll through all my photos quickly. So here's a nice steak I had last night. I can click on the More Functions button, where it allows me to do all sorts of editing. So that brings me into editing mode, where I can, a whole bunch of buttons normally that appear here, they now just pop up on the Touch Bar. So, it's interesting to see it on screen the way I'm using it right now, but in reality, if you were using this, it would be way more functional as part of your keyboard. You click a certain button in the Photos, and now the crop button is on your keyboard, ready to go. It really makes working a whole lot better. So that's the Photos app. Next up, let's take a look at what it would look like in iMovie. So here I am in iMovie. I'm actually editing the movie, the Touch Bar movie that I'm going to be making. This is the movie that we're recording right now as we speak. So You see one little nice function here is the split button right on the touch bar, and I've seen this used during editing. It's really great because you can be editing, and to have the ability to very quickly split by touching one button on your keyboard as things are moving really is great. And of course there's other things you can do like skip ahead, play, pause, and you can also customize the touch bar, and more functionality will definitely be coming soon. This is a new feature and it's only just getting started. So let's take a look at what you might be able to do with Keynote. So here I've got a Keynote for a different video we made when I was playing with some of the photos. So you can switch from slide to slide. You can zoom to fit, make the slide fit the full screen. You can skip this slide. So we just made it so that this slide's not part of the presentation. And then when you're in presentation mode, you can actually see the next slide here. You can see what slide you're on. You can see the time, and you can also customize this screen so that you get more of your presenter tools there right on the touch bar part of the keyboard. Let's also take a look at the Notes app. So here I've got a new note, and as I'm typing, it's producing this predictive text as I'm typing, or even before I'm typing, it's guessing the word. So if I start typing, it's updating as I'm going. And if you were typing and this was the top part of your keyboard, you can imagine how it would be pretty useful, that it's completing your words and whatnot. Of course, there's other things you can do. You can use this to play with all sorts of the different text features, other features. So the add a checklist. You can start a new note right from here, and just like that, there's really all sorts of great little things you can do with having this touch bar here ready to go. Just adds so much functionality to your keyboard. Let's quickly take a look in messages. Here's a message I have going with myself, and you see that on the you have the ability to add some predictive text. And you can also get right to emojis really easily. So for those people who are big on emojis, you might want to be able to do that. That's really, basic of what you can do on messages. Let's take a quick look in iTunes. I'm in iTunes now. Say I started playing one of my playlists. I get the ability to quickly scrub through to any part of the song, which is pretty good. And then I can just pause it, switch to the next song when I'm ready. It's just a great whole layer of functionality built right into the keyboard in the place where your fingers are already moving around a lot and whatnot. And let's see, is there anything interesting in Calendar? So Calendar also, I can scroll from week to week. Let's say I click on an event. So here we are today. We've got the Raptors are playing Boston for their next game, which should be pretty interesting because we're going to be in a bit of a playoff race. So I just made this new event right here, dinner, and clicking on it, it's giving me all these options. Because I own this event, unlike the Raptors one, I can add a location, I can add invitees, I can change the time. So I click on the time button, it opens up that part of the event up, and I can just quickly scrub around and make it bigger, and then when I'm done, click enter. And let's see, are there any other apps I'd want to show really quickly? Here we are in Finder. This is pretty standard. I've got my Finder window with a whole bunch of stuff in here. There's some buttons here that are pretty useful. There's the quick view button, which I usually use with spacebar. There's the share button, so I can click that, and then I can either, I can send it directly in a message or in a mail, add it to a note or my Wunderlist or anything else really. I can add a tag right from here, which is great because I actually do this all the time. I have my tags and I search files by tag, so I'm going to add a tag there. And I can change my view, so right now I want to be in this view. And just like that, like I've said, really with every app here, you're adding this level, this layer of functionality built right into the keyboard, adapts as you need it, and yeah, Touch Bar looks really great, and this app is a really great way to see what you can do with Touch Bar and get a sense of that added level of functionality. Of course, very different when it's actually built into the keyboard and very nicely implemented by Apple. So there's the review of the Touche app, which lets you test out the Touch Bar. Let me know if you've tried it out, what you think, if you've tried out the actual Touch Bar, and any other ideas you might have on this new aspect of the Mac OS operating system. Thanks for joining us on the Tech Couch, and we hope to see you again soon.